Does anyone believe that Alec Baldwin was unaware that there had been 2 accidental discharges on set? You don't think the whole set talked about it? Of course he knew. It's impossible to imagine that he didn't know.
So you had no sense from anyone on the set that people had been stretched to the point where safety was compromised?
No. I never heard one word about that. None.
Now, first of all, I don't believe that's true. Second of all, even if it is true, it doesn't matter. It's not relevant to his reckless conduct. Pointing a gun at another human being without ensuring that it did not have live rounds in it. If there had been no accidental discharges, it's still reckless conduct to point a gun at another human being without ensuring there are no live rounds in it.
Rust producers told ABC News Mr. Looper's allegations around budget and safety are patently false, which is not surprising, considering his job was to be a camera operator and he had absolutely nothing to do with or knowledge of safety protocols or budgets.
You know, first of all, it's hard to believe that anybody in the industry hasn't read the SAG-AFTRA safety bulletins. In fact, I think they're mandatory to be provided and taught. Second of all, do you need any kind of specialized training to know that when guns are going off unintentionally, that's a dangerous situation? Even if you had no reason to believe there could be a live round in the gun, the noise alone, he talks about that in his email. We're suffering hearing damage and tinnitus from these gun blasts without our hearing protection on, because that's not when the gun is supposed to go off.
Safety is always the #1 priority on our films.
But it wasn't. It wasn't, because this is a Western. There's guns everywhere, every scene. There's hundreds or thousands of rounds of blank ammo that are going to be discharged. And their armorer, it's her second gig as head armorer, and she's part-time.
When people say
that's not a top priority,
cutting costs, I don't say this with any judgment or any cynicism. Spielberg wants to save money. Tom Cruise wants to save money. Everybody who makes movies has a responsibility not to be reckless and careless with the money that you're given.
How about being reckless and careless with the gun you're holding? How about that, Alec Baldwin?
Those are men who make movies that cost $205 million. And I'm making movies that cost $5 million. Or
the question, though, is were costs being cut?
You don't get to have less safety because you're a low-budget film. You get to have less effects, less travel, less luxurious hotels, lesser quality food, lesser high-rank stars. But you don't get to legally compromise safety and not be held accountable if you recklessly kill somebody because you're on a low-budget film. By the way, I pulled up the New Mexico manslaughter statute. Here it is. There's nothing in here about carving out an exception for actors on a set. That does not exist. That is not a thing.
At the expense of safety and security.
In my opinion, no, because I did not observe any safety or security issues at all in the time I was there.
He was the safety and security issue.
Thursday, October 21st, Baldwin posts a photo of himself in costume on Instagram. Back to in-person at the office. Blimey, it's exhausting. That morning, Looper and 6 other crew members walked off the set. Filming continued with a replacement camera crew.
So he knows the film crew has walked off the set. There's no way he could not know that. And you don't think he says, what the F is going on? What the F is going on? Our film crew just walked off the set. They had to scramble to get another film crew from Albuquerque to film that day. Is it not irresponsible of him not to ask why they're leaving and not know that they had safety concerns?
Scene 118 in the church was slated for after lunch.
And I said their safety concerns are not relevant to what he did because he pointed the gun at Helena Hutchins without checking to make sure it's unloaded. But he should have been even more aggressive about ensuring the gun was unloaded, knowing there were safety concerns by the crew.